Hello, everybody. Coming to you from mediocre weather, 77 degrees here in Bristol, Connecticut. But it is great to be here with you guys tonight from the home offices. I am, of course, Dave Stevens, and you have joined us. It's the Geary, Stein, and Stevens Show. And as I said, I'm Dave Stevens, your host, with the most or the least, depending on how you look at it, since, I don't have legs, but I can make those kind of jokes. So, again, it's a full crew tonight. So I got to bring in my buddy Troy Geary from Minnesota. Troy, how are you doing tonight, buddy? It is good to see you up in the land of how many thousand lakes?
10,000 lakes, Dave, and I'm fantastic.
Well, it's good to have you. And guess who's with us tonight? We've actually got a Will Stein sighting. So Will Stein is here. We've missed a couple of shows with you you being on the road for, golf tournaments and for the Hall of Fame and all these things. Neil Everett was asking about you on the last show, and Lee Steinberg said we sound like a law firm. So, Will, let me give you the platform. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, it's great to be back, and I've missed Neil. Of course, I was in the golf tournament with some of the great guys from the Vikings, from Randall McDaniel, Paul Molitor from the Twins. He remembers you from KSTP5 and when you were back working in Minnesota, so that was a very nice reunion story. And man, I regret missing Neil. I think I saw Neil maybe in LA, and that's probably where he asked about me. It's like, where's Stein at? It's like, that's when I was at the golf tournament in Canton Hall of Fame, seeing everybody again. Hall of Famers from Chris Carter. He's going an afro, it appears. Lawrence Taylor always has a cigar in his hand.
Steve Young, I saw you with.
Steve Young.
Yeah, it was cool.
Marcus Allen, Eric Dickerson. It's always great to be around those guys. It's always a treat to be around that prestigious company again.
Well, welcome back to our company, and it's good to have you. And no superstar guests, just the three of us superstars here tonight. But you did mention the preseason, and it's been kind of an eventful preseason, even though now we're shortened into 3 games. And heck, we got one more, and next week happens. But big news today, Troy, is that the Panthers made a choice, and looks like Baker Mayfield's going to be starting. Did that shock you that they said it so quickly during training camp?
Actually, no, Dave. When they traded for him, I assumed he would be the starter unless, something, injury or something happened. I know their third-string quarterback, Matt Corral, got hurt. So it was really down to those two to begin with, him and Sam Darnold. And, you're giving up all that capital and paying all that money every year. So we'll see what happens in Carolina.
And Will, you were actually at the Vikings game yesterday. Shock. Good and bad. Did you like what you see? Or again, it's the preseason, so you're not going to see much of the whistles and bells. And Kirk Cousins had COVID, so how were they?
So the Vikings yesterday, I expected us to look for a new quarterback, and we ended up trading for Nick Mullins. So I think that's going to be a better move. Anything's better than Sean Mannion at this point. Kellen Mond has potential. I hope they keep him as the QB3, but we'll see what happens. But Sean Mannion needs to go. But that's what I've gotten out of it so far.
And I think the big elephant in the room, of course, the preseason is, of course, the decision. First, it was a decision by the league, a 6-game suspension, but the NFL decided they didn't like that they decided they wanted to fight that and go with a little more. So Deshaun Watson is now 13 games, I guess he's not going to be playing for the Browns. And then ironically enough, he's set to come back against Houston in week 14. So Troy, was it enough? Too much? Too little? Did it shock you now that he's going to be out longer?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the arbitration. NFL has a process when somebody is accused of some wrongdoing, they go through arbitration. And they ruled 6 games, and the NFL said that's not enough. They wanted more. He was out all last year. That was kind of the team's choice when he was in Houston. I don't think it's enough. As we were talking earlier, Adrian Peterson, Vikings running back, got 14 games for striking his child with a whip, or that's what they call it in Texas. So Basically disciplining your kid. This guy was accused of some egregious things by not just one, but 26, 27 different women. Um, I mean, I think he realized that, let's meet in the middle. It'll save him some money. He'll get to come back sometime this season. So 11 games he thought was uh, something that he could agree to. And like I said, this is one that we could debate all day about. I don't think it's enough, but it's was decided, and the Browns are going to have to move on this year, basically the whole season without him.
Yeah. Will, your thoughts? I mean, this league, and you've seen the discipline that's come down. So I'm just curious to what your thoughts are.
I think from a discipline standpoint, I think it's as much as they could have done. I personally would have done it longer. But if you think about it from the outside standpoint of view too, is that if you are active for 6 games for an NFL season, that accrues another NFL season under your belt, making you closer to free agency as or in a quote unquote official stat year under your belt for like NFL pension, retirement, and all that kind of fun stuff. So I don't think it was enough from a women's rights perspective because I think women's rights got blatantly ignored in this standpoint. But I think there could have been more done, but overall, I think it's better than what was initially proposed.
And it's funny in this day and age, we tend to forget our athletes. We forgive them if they win. All you young people out there forget Kobe Bryant went through some things in Denver with some alleged sexual allegations that if there had been social media in this day and age, then he might have been crucified. Tiger Woods went through what he did. So, Michael Vick was his worst. But, in this situation, he's not marketable anymore. I don't know what you can do. It's almost like Ben Roethlisberger. He had a great career, but it was always tainted by things early in his. So, if he goes and wins a Super Bowl, all might be forgiven. But his legacy is, I think, predestined now for years and years to come. He's going to have to do. He needs a real makeover for that. But okay, we're going to move on. Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break here. We've, of course, got to pay some bills. And I want you guys to pay attention to this very first ad because it's very near and dear to my heart as our sponsors are so important to us. So please support us. We have some great sponsors with Fresh Clean Threads, of course, Manscaped. So again, with those codes, GSS Show, you can save 20%. Stay with us on Geary, Stein, and Stevens. Hi again, everybody. Dave Stevens here for Manscaped. And I've been in baseball for almost 40 years, despite not having legs, and I know what it takes to put in a good turf, and that's what Manscaped is all about. What Manscaped does is protects your boys down below, cleans them up, gives them that fresh cut feeling, and also you don't smell like a locker room after. And right now, Manscaped is offering the Performance Package 4.0. It's arrived, and oh man, it's a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear, nose, and hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all the goodies. So right now, if you'd like to save on Manscaped products, go to manscaped.com, type in the code GSS Show, and you will save 20% on Manscaped products because Manscaped really works, and of course, you want your balls to feel as light as air. Want 20% off the world's softest, comfiest, best fitting threads? Well, Fresh Clean Threads has your back and your front and your sides with everything from tees to tanks, Henleys, and pullovers and polos and hoodies. You get designer quality basics without paying ridiculous designer prices. Everyone deserves to look good and feel great. Confidence shouldn't cost a fortune. Go to freshcleanthreads.com. Use a special code GSS Show for 20% off your order. Your perfect fit awaits. And these shirts look so good. Troy has his on. I've got mine on. We really do appreciate all of our sponsors. And of course, Manscaped. I can't talk enough about Manscaped. Like, it's changed my life. The products, Troy, And if you missed Will's commercial the other day, he did, but like this deodorant for your balls, like again, I'm actually using it. I'm not going to show you where I put it, but I actually put it on my face. I'm not afraid to use this product on my body, all over my body, and it works amazing. And again, all these other products that they got, there's a little light on here you can see. So if you're doing that dark stuff, and it does work, watch this. Oh, that actually takes stuff off. So you just saw that here first. There's a big clump of some stuff. So Manscaped, please support them because they're supporting us. They're a great sponsor of ours. The products are great. They got a great goodie bag that comes with it. All the stuff goes in. I haven't even talked about this thing that takes away all of the hair and nose stuff that's in here on my ears and everything like that. So it has been amazing. So manscaped.com. I can't say enough. I smell good. I look good. I feel good, and I'm clean. Troy and Will. If I take your microphones back up. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, great stuff, Dave. That commercial was awesome. A lot of great comments on social media. I love all their products as well. The nose trimmer, definitely helpful. So
And
don't
it's
walk
fun.
around town. Yeah, what do you think, Will?
It's fun.
I actually look more presentable now because I look like an ape at a zoo the last before I went to Ohio, and all of a sudden Manscaped came around, and now I look more professionally made for the camera, and I'm excited to continue our partnership with them based off of looking good and feeling good at the same
Hey,
time. So
we're dressing good, we're smelling good, we're looking good. Troy was just at the Minnesota Twins game this weekend. We're getting access again to games and things like that. You got a chance to see a bunch of my old buddies retire Dan Gladden's number. What was that night like?
Yeah, it was Ron Gunhire. It was Dan Glad was the day after, but that was great to see all the former Twins coming in, their Hall of Famers show up. Um, Tom Kelly walking around, Terry Ryan, Bert Blyleven was there. Um, so yeah, it was a really good time. The Twins lost the game 4-3 in 10 innings, but yeah, they're struggling right now. Hopefully, they can get it together and make this playoff push.
Yeah, if you want to talk playoffs, again, my three teen sons are Phillies, Yankees, and Red Sox fan. Of course, I'm the Twins fan, even though I'm wearing a Tampa Rays hat. I like them as well. But to watch the collapse of the Yankees has been one of the worst I've ever seen in season before. And I mean, Will, it's you watch baseball quite a bit too. I mean, can you pinpoint what's gone wrong with those guys in New York?
I mean, with the Yankees, I personally just think the Houston Astros are a better baseball team than them, to be quite honest with you. I believe that the Yankees have just simply been figured out because it's either you're hitting a home run or you're striking out, it seems. And they're not doing all the small stuff that they've been successful with, and they're living and dying by the long ball. That's what I'm seeing, and I just think Houston is more of a complete baseball team right now than anybody else in the American League.
And speaking of struggles, Will, the Twins, again, they were in first place, and now the Guardians have crept up there. I mean, that wild card is kind of could be out of reach fairly soon.
Well, with the Twins, it's always been they've always been a streaky team. They've always been a good team at certain times, and then all of a sudden they go non-existent for a month stretch, and once they go non-existent, that's when their playoff hopes go away. And you and I know that as lifelong Minnesota Twins
Yeah.
fans for following them for so long. So that doesn't surprise me one bit. I had
Troy, now you are going to go to KC this week. Again, we are kind of getting our names out there and getting opportunities. So, what are you looking forward to? What you're doing this weekend?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm going to talk to Salvador Perez, Royals All-Star catcher and Gold Glove winner on the field. They're playing the Arizona Diamondbacks, so I'll have a chance to talk to some of their players as well. And hopefully we'll use that on the next show or two. I'll show you what I got when I come back.
Yeah, I mean, we're really going to start branching out and doing some more things. But as we talk baseball, obviously, this entire season has kind of suddenly been overshadowed by another situation that has happened out there with steroids, and it's really tragic that a guy like Tattis Jr. can now sit out 80 games for violating baseball, and considering he was out with an injury. I mean, he's really tainted his legacy, don't you think, Troy?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the guy should know that the MLB has a strict policy, and even if it was accidental or not, he should be aware of what he puts in his body, and they were going to find out. So he says that he had no idea it had something to do with his recovery, but you're getting paid $30 million a year. You got to know what you're taking, and if you don't, you shouldn't take it. So basically, he'll go like A-Rod the rest of his career. He'll just be there for the money. His legacy is pretty much tarnished, and any hopes for the Hall of Fame, I think, now are dashed.
Will, your thoughts?
So, kind of speaking to that point, Andy Pettit had a similar case, if memory serves me right, with that HGH hormone stuff that he took that had an illegal substance in it. So, I I mean, it's still Major League Baseball. You still have to hit the 95-mile-per-hour fastball, but I I think that there are better ways to recover than what Tatis Jr. did. I think it was like some sort of recovery drug for like your neck or something for your hairline, according to the story from his dad, if memory serves me right. But I think there's better ways to go about recovery, and not all baseball players apparently know that. And Kevin Williams and Pat Williams did the same thing with the Vikings a few years back with the Star Caps, and they ended up serving like a 4-game suspension because of it.
Well, I think if the league would get hip, it's right under their nose. And again, I'm talking about the ability to use marijuana, to use medical prescribed marijuana for that recovery because of what it does for that body. And I know now the leagues have decriminalized it. They don't, test for it anymore. But if they could incorporate something like that into the system for these guys, the recovery might be so much better. And again, I'm not here to jump on a soapbox about the do's and don'ts, but the medical community seems to be backing that up. And I just hope that these guys, now, what's his legacy? Let's say he puts up 500 home runs. He's going to be just like these guys that have gotten 3,000 hits, like Rafael Palmeiro. Nobody's ever going to talk about him in the Hall of Fame, or Barry Bonds or anything like that. And so it really is. It's sad that these young guys still, in this day and age, are trying to find that super fix to do that. Considering too, he broke his wrist doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing, and the team supported him. But Troy, I know a lot of his teammates publicly said some pretty harsh things about what he did and where he left them, and yet the Padres still are, hovering around playoff contention. So I was wondering, what your thoughts are as far as how his teammates reacted.
Well, he put them in a bad position. I would be mad too. They're in a playoff hunt, and now they don't have him. He would have probably been back, I think, by the end of this month or early September. And like I said, now he's gone for the rest of the season, playoffs, and start of next year. So I can see why they're mad, and now they're just going to have to try to grind it out and see what they can do. But they do have a reason to be upset.
And I have a reason to be upset because we haven't played enough commercials. So stay with us. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on bringing Will back as the Geary, Stein, and Stevens shows continues. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be back right after this.
This is Pete Davidson from Manscaped. Surprise your girlfriend. Sorry. Let's show them how hairless we could be, boys. Presentation matters. Don't make me get specific, because I will. Shave your dick. Shave it, baby.
I got a hot date.
I've been using this guy long enough to where I think it's time we went into business together. Meet the new face, among other parts, of Manscaped.
Fresh Clean Tees was a shirt company. Over the years, you've asked us for more. We've listened. And now we're entering a new era with a new name. It's time for us to officially be the brand you've helped us grow into. We believe in our basics, from the first thread to the final stitch. We always have, we always will. The only thing that's truly changing is our sense of adventure. We're expanding our lineup by developing new, exciting products that largely come from customer requests. Customers like you are a huge part of who we are and how we got here. So we're still going to make fresh tees, but we're also going to make a lot of new threads inspired by you. In short, we just want to make clothes that you want to wear. So we're an apparel brand now. Let us reintroduce ourselves. We are Fresh, Clean Threads.
Hey, I'm back, and in fact, I'm wearing a brand new, fresh, clean tees that I wanted to show you. They come in all these great colors. So again, we thank our sponsors for supporting us, and yeah, that blue really brings out my eyes. Don't you think, Troy? It makes my eyes just sparkle and pop, I think, right?
Yeah, it looks sharp on you, Dave.
Yeah. So thank you guys again for our sponsors for Manscaped and for Fresh Clean Threads. And again, if you use that code GSS Show, it's 20% off. You get free shipping. You look good. You smell good. And again, I can combine both of these with my little light. I can use this outside. I can continue. So again, we appreciate all of our sponsors. And it's been a great couple of weeks that we've had some amazing guests. We had Lee Steinberg on. We had... we had John Rocker that we had to bleep a few times. Marty Cordova kicked things off. We've done really well, and we really appreciate our fans is the most important part of that, because if you're not listening, you're not driving us, and we aren't getting these sponsorships because nobody's watching or listening. So we do appreciate you guys. Continue to follow Gary, Stein, and Stevens on all social media platforms. And of course, our show can be found on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. What are some of the other platforms you got out there for us, Troy?
We got Apple, Odyssey, Google, Amazon, and Anchor, to name a few. So all the major platforms for podcasts, you can find our show. Just type in Gary Stein and Stevens Show.
And we also want you guys to start reaching out to us on all social media platforms. We want to take your questions. We want to give them to our guests. We want to involve you guys. So please follow us, hit us up, DM us, talk to us. Will's got his Facebook pages and stuff that he does. Again, he puts out great commercials. He just had Molly and Randall McDaniel doing some fun stuff. So again, we do appreciate everybody. And I appreciate Will being with us tonight. Will, what's next on your docket in your life as far as where in the world Will goes?
So obviously we got the home opener, Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers coming up. I will be in Houston for the Chargers and the Texans game, and Miami for the Vikings and the Dolphins, Washington, D.C. Now that football's coming back, I'm just looking forward to have fun and meet a whole bunch of new fans on the road, talk to them about the show, what they like about it, and see and maybe showcase some fan experiences too.
Yeah, and we'll continue to do that. We're already trying to put plans in place for the Super Bowl and everything like that. But as we begin to wrap up this awesome show that we've had our family back together, it's been good to have you. I'm going to go out on a limb and make a prediction. And everybody said they didn't know why Tom Brady was away from Tampa and all that. But my son and I were talking, and we were putting 3 and 3 together, and it was coming out a little weird. It wasn't adding up. But I'm going to say, and again, I don't know this. I don't know it for a fact, but it's just a gut feeling. But I got a feeling that Tom Brady stepped away so he could appear on The Masked Singer. And call me crazy, but it lines up. He signed that contract with Fox when he retired that he was going to do stuff, so he's still under contract. So they might have said, wink, wink, nod, nod. He's not going to do much in the preseason. So that's just my 2 cents. Most of the time the world would go crazy. Was there an injury? Is there a divorce? Did he have a baby? And nobody has said a thing. So it seems like, well, if the Buccaneers didn't care, then they knew what was going on. And I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, Antonio Brown did the same thing, so you might be onto something there, Dave.
And Gronk did it too. So, I mean, it's not unprecedented, but I imagine with that voice, they probably, one and done anyway,
Well, look at Brett Favre when he came to the Minnesota Vikings in 2009 and 2010. Everybody knew he didn't want to go to the training camp. Everybody knew he really didn't want to play in the preseason. And the Vikings are like, hey, just come play for us. We don't care. As long as you produce in the regular season, who cares? And
Yep.
it happened in 2009 when the Vikings were close to winning a Super Bowl. It's kind of something like that, if you ask me.
Well, we hope that our Vikings will be in the playoffs, but we don't know. But that's why we have this show, and that's why we have these amazing sponsors that are a part of our show. We want to thank Manscaped, Pro Stance, FanDuel, Fresh Clean Threads, and Coca-Cola. We could not do it and would not do it without you guys. So we really, really appreciate having our sponsors. Troy, thank you. Will, thank you. And any final thoughts?
Like I said, I'm looking forward to being in Kansas City this week, and we'll come back with some good content. And then our next show, we have Leon Searcy, former All-Pro offensive tackle and the author of his book, Mike Brodsky, joining us. So look for that.
And you've got another podcast that you've got going. Where could they find that? What is it, and how do we hear it?
I'm doing another show with the NFL and NFLPA. I teamed up with former running back George Jones. And
not the singer, the country singer.
I wish it was the singer. I don't know how many times people ask me, like, what? George
He's
Jones?
dead.
No, yeah, he died. But yeah, the NFL has their platforms. I think it's Sounder they use, but it will be all over. I'm sure Apple, Spotify as well. And our first guest, I think I'll find out tomorrow. So looking forward to announcing that.
And we'll reschedule Tommy John. He got sick. I don't know if his underwear was on too tight, but that was a joke because Tommy John underwear. But for you listeners, you young kids, they don't know who Tommy John is. They only know underwear. And if you want some great underwear, that, of course, you would also get that from Manscaped. Just type in the code GSS Show, 20% off. And that's going to do it for Stevens and Stein and Geary. Since we've reversed it, it's actually Geary, Stein, and Stevens. Will, it has been great to have you. Check in with us again. Troy, thank you. Good luck in Kansas City. I'm Dave Stevens. Please continue to support us. Follow us on all social media platforms. And that is a good night. We'll see you next time.